Okay, I decided to come back with another video. I'm eating some dried fruit here, but I don't know. I was thinking, today, my son's here. He's visiting. Well, actually, this is his home, too, but he works out of state, and he's always bouncing back and forth, so he's kind of resting his head here for a little bit, and so, him and Piggy are working on his truck and everything, so I'm doing okay with Piggy. I'm just, we're getting along okay. I'm being civil, and I'm not trying to do anything that's purposely going to hurt his feelings or anything like that. I'm just really trying to get along. Which is very difficult for me because, I'm the kind of person who just likes 100%, I just think this is a very serious issue, and that's so important. But then, everybody has been a part of this for whatever reason, which is really stupid. But I don't know. I was thinking how, people say, gang stalking follows you everywhere. Yeah, it does, but, you know what, this whole made-up bullshit, it's all made up. Every single last bit of it. It's based on assumption, gossip, everything, and I'm glad that you can't say shit about me, and that's the fucking great part about it. But this is very eye-opening for people who are evil. For people who are evil, it's very eye-opening because you're willing to punish somebody who's innocent, and you do nothing to punish the people who are really evil. That to me is, and I've done nothing wrong. That's the part that really gets me. And the very fact that why am I not overly? I've just never been promiscuous. I've just never have been. I've rarely had very many boyfriends. That's just how I am. You know what I mean? Probably because I understand, or maybe it's just because I don't like being around people very much, and I can sense their insincerity, and I just don't really want to deal with it. It's just not, I just don't, okay? I'm not saying I never will, I'm just saying I don't have that much of a desire to, and not really, I just don't, I think it's overrated, I just do, and, I think a lot of women that I've talked to feel the same way, but we live in such a sex-obsessed society that a lot of people feel pressure to say that they're more crazy about sex than they really are. And that's just the way it is, okay? So then you get people who to me, who are immature in their understanding of certain things. There's certain conversations that you can have with people who are of a certain level of maturity, and they can handle that conversation, and they're not going to think of it, they're not going to roll their eyes, they're not going to make anything big out of it, they're just going to listen to what you're saying, and they're going to process it, and they're going to either express their opinion, but they really shouldn't be judgmental when they hear it. And that, to me, is a level of maturity that the kind of people that I want to talk to. Because, you tell somebody something like that, and they think that something is wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with me at all. There really isn't. As a matter of fact, like I said, there's a lot of women who feel the same way that I do. They just don't want to say anything because they don't want people to think that, if you're not thinking about sex 24 hours a day in American culture, then something's wrong with you, according to them, okay? And that's not true. Some people want to have more, like I said, more emotional relationships. Some people are, they want that, and that's all they really care about. And if sex is great, well then great, that's wonderful. If not, whatever. It's not a priority with them, okay? And so, and I've been alone pretty much all my life, and to try to force me into seeing a certain way of life, after all these years, to me, it's just not rational. It's not, it just isn't. I'm comfortable by myself. I'm comfortable by myself, and that's just how it is. For now, anyway. Now, and that's how I want to be. I don't want to be cohabitating with anybody else. Now, like I said, who's to say? So I might meet somebody and we get along well, and it is what it is. But that's not what I'm looking for. I'm just not. And so, you know, I resent that intrusion, and I resent it because they're kind of like combining that stuff with my work, and that's completely illegal, and it's sexual harassment, plain and simple, plain and simple. And the way that they went about it is absolutely shocking, and it's offensive. I find it offensive, okay? And like I said, you know, if somebody was interested in me, to go about it that way, I would never have any interest in you, not in a million years. You've already lost the game, because I'm a very quiet, reserved person, and I would expect the person that I would be with to be exactly the same. Okay? And I don't have to justify why I'm not sex crazy. I'm just not. Okay? I really don't enjoy the huggy feely stuff. I'm just not. Like, you know, I don't like it. Plain and simple. And you know, for whatever reason, you know, some people, you never know what a person went through to become the way that they have. Okay? Now, I didn't really deal with a whole lot of trauma when I was a kid, although I was abused. But let's just say, for example, you were dealing with somebody who may have been raped as a child, okay? And they told somebody that. They said, you know, I'm really not interested in sex, and some immature person went off and did exactly what they did to me. And then you're opening up all these wounds into a person who already experienced trauma from being raped as a child, and now you're throwing more shit into their face, okay? It's that sort of stuff, that mindless bullshit, that I realize you have to be very careful about what you say around people, because not everybody's mature enough to handle it. They're just not. So, I don't have a desire to cohabitate. I don't. I like to be by myself. That's just who I am. People have to accept that, you know what I mean? That's just how it is. I don't particularly like hanging out with a lot of men. I don't, you know? I mean, they're fun to talk to. I think men are fun to get along. Well, I get along well with them as friends, you know, buddies and stuff. But as far as, like, I'm just not like that, you know? And so some people will say, oh, well, then that means you're a dyke, man. No, I'm not a lesbian. But I will say that I think as you get old, when you're younger, you think, you know, you're trying to figure yourself out, and you're like, well, maybe if it's not men, then maybe I could be. Okay, the more I think about having sex with a woman, I want to throw up, okay? That grosses me out, okay? It grosses me out to have sex with women. So it's not, I'm just not sexual. It is what it is, and that's just how it is. And, you know, some people want to have relationships. They're more, what do you call it? They're asexual, but they're polyamorous. Like, they want to have friendships where they could, you know, get a hug if they're feeling down. And they don't care if that hug comes from a male or a female, okay? Some people are like that. Some people are like that. I'm just one of those people. I mean, I don't mind hugging and that kind of stuff, but I would prefer to hug a man, mind you. I would prefer to hug a man, but I'm not really... I don't really like a lot of physical contact. I don't like physical contact, okay? And I don't have to explain why. If it grossed me out back then, it's kind of that way now. So, I mean, and I know it's hard for people to understand. People can get mad if they want to. They can get angry. They can get upset. And then their illogical behavior and their stupid ideas of, well, can't you change your mind? No, you can't change your mind. You can't change it. I can't change my skin color, okay? I can't change the fact that my eyes are brown. I can't change certain things. I can't change that, okay? And to sit there and like, well, it doesn't need to be brought up in the context of work anyway, plain and simple. It's sexual harassment. So for me being shut out of employment for those reasons is just completely inappropriate. So some people say, well, why don't you just identify, how do you identify? I'm just a single, I look at myself, and right now, I mean, my marriage is falling apart, so I'm just going to call myself a single woman who just wants to keep a roof over her head. How about that? Okay? I'm a single woman who's trying to keep a roof over her head. And, you know, I don't care about that, because I've always been self-reliant, I've always been self-sufficient, I'm an autonomous person, and I would never rely on a man's money anyway. I would never feel comfortable doing that. So, you know, that's why. Now, if romantic relationships, if it happens, great. If it happens, wonderful. You know what I mean? Because everybody likes to cuddle on the couch, and those things are really nice. But you know what? If it happens, great. If it doesn't, whatever. That's exactly how I look at it, because I don't really have that much put a lot of emphasis on it. And as far as sex is concerned, I mean, I could totally be in an asexual relationship. I would have no problem with that whatsoever. So I'm just throwing that out there, just as because I don't care at this point, you know what I mean? Because I think a lot of people are throwing out a lot of misconceptions about me, and it's creating problems as far as, you know, what's most important right now, which is my survival. And, yeah, I can make how much money I want. You can't put a limit on that. There's no reason to do that. I can make, and really, I should be making a lot. I mean, I should be making, with 20 years of experience, I should be making a decent amount of money. I'm not saying I mean, if I could really be a general manager of a company. I really could. I have what it takes to be a general manager of a company, just on my skills, my understanding alone, okay? But really, do I want that big responsibility? I would be happy doing a department manager. I really would. And that's small enough. Or maybe if it was a small company, then I would take on that challenge. But I couldn't be like some head honcho like at Warner Brothers or some crazy shit like that. That would be too much for me. That would be too much for me. But like a small, like family-owned business that's relatively, I would say a somewhat medium-sized business, maybe they have a few locations and stuff like that, I wouldn't have a problem doing that. But I wouldn't want to be like, you know, one of those big companies. That would be too much for me. Because I do want to have an outside life, and I do want to meet other people. But I do think sometimes, I was thinking today, you know, some people are like, you know, you got to identify, you got to define your sexuality. And I'm thinking, okay, is there really any importance to that? And I guess in some ways, yeah, because, you know, if you're heterosexual, that way if people know that you're heterosexual, you could, you know, find other people, like, for example, a woman could find a guy and she could spend time with him and maybe marry him or whatever, right? And if you're a lesbian, then you could say, I'm a lesbian, and you can find a chick and whatever. But that, I can't help not finding any importance in that. I value friendships more, and we all know that friendships are hard to find. So friendships are very hard to find. So people I can't be blamed for any of this. I can't be blamed for anything. Just because I put my best picture on Facebook and people filled in the blanks. By saying that or trying to say that it's my fault in any way is basically shucking the responsibility off of themselves, okay? Now, as far as me not cutting people off, I have to cut these people off, okay? I have to cut them off because just by their actions alone shows what was truly in their heart. And like I said, you've got to come to me with a sincere heart. If you're not sincere, then I get rid of you. That's pretty much how it is. Because like I said, I've dealt with abuse too much in my life, and I don't want to put up with it anymore. It doesn't matter if, you know, my family thought maybe they could hook me up with somebody else or whatever. It doesn't have nothing to do with my work, okay? And I don't really know. I can't really say I know very many men. I don't know really anybody. You know, people I used to work with, but I mean, I have lost contact with these people. So really, when you think about it, I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody. Because I basically go to work and come home, and people can get angry all they want to about, well, how come you were you know what, I don't know why I'm like that, okay? I'm sure it has something to do with what's going on in my body. Some people have strong sex drives, and some people don't. It's really that simple. And I resent the fact that people would put pressure on me to be that way, because to me it seems like it's like rape or something. It seems I want it to just go away. I want people to leave me alone. It's caused enough trouble. It's sexual harassment, plain and simple. So I just really want to get back to work. You know, who's to say? Maybe I might be going down the grocery store aisle and I might meet some nice guy. You never know. But if that happens, it happens. But for now, I have no interest in anybody. So, yeah, I want people to leave me alone. I don't want people involved in my love life unless, of course, I invite them in. I just don't. I mean, like I said, anybody who would get on Facebook or if somebody was interested in me and then they let somebody else know that they were interested in me without letting me know first, you already lost the game. You fucking already lost the game because I'm a reserved person and I believe I want my stuff to be reserved and quiet. So forget it. You know, you struck out already. So you struck out. So no, whoever, you know, what the kind of personality I like in a person, I don't like people who are very showy. I don't like materialistic people. I like people who are very quiet, and I like people who are brainy. I like them brainy. And I don't like people who do things for show. So if you're one of those people who are constantly showing off, and you got this going, and you're materialistic to the point of where I don't like men. Like for example, I don't like men in suits. I don't. I mean, I'm just really one of those weird people, you know. And so, you know, it really doesn't matter because it's not a part of it's not that important for me. It's just not. It's not important for me. And you know, I've dated when I was younger, not very many people, and I will say that there were times where I just wanted people to get off me, like stop hugging me, don't touch me, don't kiss me, get away from me. I don't really enjoy intimacy like a lot of people do, and that's just kind of how it is. And yeah. I mean, I guess some people would say I'm asexual. I used to identify as asexual. I'm just uploading a video on asexuality. If for more information on asexuality, I think you guys should look it up. Asexuality is definitely take a look at asexuality. That probably is really more where I lean towards. Being asexual more so than, you know, I'm more asexual than I am heterosexual, and I'm more asexual than I am homosexual. So since it really doesn't matter that much to me, it's not about an issue, I would say I'm asexual. Okay, I'm asexual, and I really resent people intruding that in my life and making a big issue out of it because it literally, you know, it's not necessary. It just isn't. So I would rather not deal with it or talk about it or make it a big issue. I feel, for it to have anything to do with my work is just wrong. It's illegal, it's inappropriate, and it's sexual harassment. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up, and hopefully, I know, I keep talking about my job search. I put it off again today because I was going through too much trauma. Yeah, it is. It's gotten to the point where I've become terrified to look for work. So, you know, I am comfortable with who I am. I don't want to be any other way. I don't sit here and envy people who have, like, sex lives. I can let people go on and on and tell me about whatever. They can do that if they want to. But I never look at them like, oh, I'm so jealous. I don't care. I don't care. I understand that sex is a normal function in our lives, in the human life. But I think some people just make a big deal out of it. They make too big of a deal out of it. So anyway, wrapping up this video. Have a wonderful evening.